New Providence, Bahamas.
The thoughts, views, and comments expressed on this show are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production.
Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women. Wardrobe provided by Bahari Bahamas. Visit shopbahari.com. And good morning, everyone, and welcome to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Glory 93.9 FM. I am your host, Michelle Malcolm, and as always, it's a pleasure to be in your company today. Thank you so much for joining us. So we have some really special guests on the show today. We are in the presence of royalty, y'all. We're going to be talking to kings and queens, or a king and queen and an ambassador all the way from Africa. And I'm calling this show today Out of Africa, Repositioning the Long Lost Children of the Motherland to Their Rightful Place. It's going to be a really soul-searching show today, I believe, because we're talking about mindset, the fact that in many ways, those of us in the African diaspora have been conditioned to think certain ways as it relates to trust and economics and working together and all of this. Where did this come from? And how do we now reconnect with our brothers and sisters from the African continent to change this and start to work together? That is what we're talking about today. And we have some really special guests in with us. So let me go ahead and introduce them. Our very first guest is His Highness Paul J. Eganda. And I will go ahead and read his very impressive bio. His Highness Paul Eganda is the founder and president of AIDO Network International, an African cultural development organization working with chapters in Africa, Europe, and America. His Highness, also known by his crown stool name, oh, please forgive me if I pronounce this incorrectly, Oheneba Sompahini, Prince Afram II of Suma, is a visionary leader with a mission to unite the African kingdoms to regain their rightful position of authority. He has led in humanitarian rescue missions and successful campaigns in human rights, especially in child slavery, with successful turnaround with African governance. And he has successfully lobbied at the United Nations and the African Union on policy and humanitarian agendas, and has become a voice of the voiceless for the silent African voices. His Highness is a system engineer by profession, a creative artist with over 25 years in media and creative industry, and he holds an MBA from the University of Birmingham, UK, master's degree in systems engineering from IUA, America, APDMS in management studies from London College of Economics in the UK, Bachelor of Science degree in Information Systems, and an FDA degree from the University of Sutherland, UK, and a professional diploma. Oh, something just moved here. And a professional diploma. Oh, I just lost my place. Just grant me a second here. A message came through that moved it. Okay, a professional diploma in performing arts from Makerere University. Welcome to the show, Your Highness. I think we have to add him to the stream, so let's go ahead and do that. Your Highness, there you are. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now let's make sure that you are unmuted, so that we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Perfectly. We can hear you now. Okay. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for having us here.
The lovely lady beside him is his queen, Her Highness Grace Eganda. She's the co-founder and director of IDO Network International. She is an educator and a champion for children and women's rights, a teacher by profession with a bachelor's in honors and education. She has led various community development initiatives in Africa and Europe, and she is committed to promoting culture as a tool for unity and social progress. And of course, she is married to His Highness Paul Eganda, and by God's grace, this couple has 4 lovely children. Your Highness, welcome to GPS.
Well, thank you very much, my sister. It's an absolute pleasure to be on the stage with you.
It's a pleasure to have you. It's a pleasure to have you. Also joining us this morning, and I'm just trying to find his information, is Ambassador. Now, I know I'm going to struggle with the name, so please forgive me if I don't get this right. His Excellency Ireneo. Is that how you pronounce that? Yes? Okay, wonderful. Ireneo Namboka. He is the Director of International Cooperation and Diplomacy for IDO, Chairman of IDO Committee on Reconciliation and Atonement to the Americas and the Caribbean, and a former career diplomat and retired United Nations advisor on human rights. He has been serving in various capacities as a consultant, trainer, and mentor on central subjects in Africa, such as gender mainstreaming, the protection of civilians in conflict contexts, combating human trafficking, and the vital role of women in nation building, peacemaking, and good governance. Welcome to you, Ambassador, and welcome to you all to the GPS Global Paradigm Shift. It is truly an honor to have you here. We are in the presence of royalty, everyone, so welcome to the show. All right, so let's dive right into it. We are talking today about the lost children of Africa, the children whose ancestors were removed from Africa in a most unpleasant fashion, brought to this part of the world and to Latin America, the Caribbean, America, sold into slavery. And now all of these hundreds of years later, we find where there is this disconnect, where we do not fully understand how we are connected to Africa. I was just saying to my stylist, my hairstylist, as we were talking about the show today, and I was telling her who my guests were and what we were doing. And she actually admitted to me, she says, you know, I've got this mental thing when it comes to Africa. I'm almost afraid to go. And I said, why? And she was talking about, you know, all of the images and media, etc. And I told her, I said, you know, I've only been to the African continent twice. I visited South Africa twice. But it was truly a surreal experience to go there and see what we know as the culture of the Bahamas in Africa. The food, the way women moved, and they took us to a place, to a village where Nelson Mandela grew up, and they served us a traditional meal. And they called it something different, but the food on the plate was what I eat here in the Bahamas. And then they brought in a choir, a small youth choir to perform for us. And the language was different, but I could have sworn I was listening to church rush. Here in the Bahamas, we have what we call a rush at church, where the old people, they go around in circles and they're rushing and they're singing. Same music, same beat, same movement, just a different language. And I thought, oh my God, I am home. It was such an experience. But yet there is this disconnect. So how is it, what are you doing through the work of IDO, did I pronounce that correctly? To bring us all together. Tell us about why IDO was formed and the work that you're doing to bring us all back together as one.
I suspect you're addressing me. You want me to say something to
Why
this?
not? Let's start with you, Ambassador.
Right. First of all, greetings from this end of the world. And we're very happy to be invited to share some thoughts about the genesis of the IDO life and thinking style. IDO was born out of a consciousness that has emerged 500 years since the continent lost some of its best human resources, the most intelligent, the most talented, through the slave trade and all the suffering that followed. So IDO stands up now and says, no, we must be doing something with our own kins that were taken away. The first thing is the human reconnection. You could call it a rebirth of what Africa was before the world came and wreaked havoc. Africa is very conscious of the fact that the descendants of this continent are responsible for all the development we see around the world without it being recognized in those lines of reality. So IDO decided to use as a vessel culture. Culture is the ship that was used. I mean, the ships were used as instruments of deprivation to the continent. Now, we, the generation of Africans today, under the wisdom and the talent of the president of IDO, His Highness Paul Eganda, we decided that we can be doing something. We want to seek to communicate first at the spiritual level. So using the cultural lens, we looked at Africans in the diaspora. There are three kinds of Africans in the diaspora, if you wish. Those that descend from our dear ones that were taken away by force,
yes,
violently 400 years ago. And those are yourself. Those are the present Vice President of the United States of America. Those include ladies of distinction like Dr. Melida Harris Brow.
Oh, yes.
And several other personalities. We've had great people that I cannot mention here. We want to use culture as a connecting loop. You just said it yourself. You came to the continent and you couldn't resist the resemblance, the affinity. IDO said, without going political, without doing techniques, we want to go to the heart. Ubuntu, the humanity that Africa was the mother of. We want to go raise the consciousness of the children of Africa in the Americas, show them that we are one, show them that we have feelings and affection. And to do this, we thought a continental movement was required. And we use culture by inviting the African kings and queens and great chiefs of today to appreciate the part we have in reconciling, in regenerating the conditions of humanity those descendants of Africa deserve to be served with. So IDO decided to create this organization. Of course, culture goes hand in hand with what we eat That's economics for those who want to speak abstract language. There is an economic part to IDO's package of activities to be done. We go to America, we meet our own that are there, and in addition to sharing cultural commonalities, we want to tackle the South-South kind of relations in trade, in cultural exchanges, investment, research, and other fascinating domains of human endeavor. And that's the whole thinking that brings IDO into existence. We want to create a new world.
Yes, we're going to talk about how you plan to make that happen throughout the course of the show. I want to bring in His Highness and Her Highness into the conversation because His Highness, you were the one who actually founded IDO. This was your brainchild. How many African kings and queens and dignitaries are a part of this, and how have you together strengthened the positioning of royalty from the indigenous people of the African states?
Thank you very much, Michelle. First of all, I would like to define the name, then you'll find what it means.
Okay.
IDO stands for Ateker International Development Organization. The first word, A, letter A, stands for Ateker. Ateker means nation. It means people. It's an African word used by the tribes of Eastern Africa. So that tribe brings in a lot of cultural aspects. IDO uses culture as a vehicle to bring people together, just as His Excellency has explained. We realize that culture is a tool that brings people together. It unites people. IDO believes in partnerships, in collaborations. Through our network, we are able to reach other kingdoms in different countries of Africa and sing the same song. So, in addition to what His Excellency has said, IDO has got a membership which is of kings, queens, cultural leaders, and elders. Just to define what a king, what a cultural leader is in Africa, depending on the community, sometimes these words mean the same. Some communities take them as chiefs, cultural leaders, cultural rulers, traditional rulers. But what is important here is that it unites people. Our organization empowers. Our model is we go through those who people trust, those who are the custodians of culture. Let's bring them together. Let's try to talk, agree. What can we do together? So, to answer your question, IDO has got a network of kings and queens from South Africa, East Africa, Central Africa, and Western Africa. So we've quite got a very, very big number of kings, and together we are able to do what we are doing. And I think Ambassador will explain later how that works out. But for the purpose of this, the journey to the Caribbeans and Americans, this is a pilgrim that we want to make, because we believe that most of our brothers and sisters who left Africa 400 years ago, most of them are actually royalties. You remember historically that when they were raiding the African kingdoms, some of the kings and chiefs and their children were also forced out of Africa. Some of these traits, even if you're not told, you can feel, you can sense the way people behave or conduct themselves. This is something spiritual. And we believe that some of the kings and the chiefs who are still alive today are the descendants and the great-great-great-grandchildren of the chiefs and the kings who possibly participated in this, but together as a team, we are happy to come to the Americas and make this journey of atonement. So IDO, as an organization, brings together all these traditional rulers in their different capacities and perspectives, and we try and sow this message. So this was, of course, only possible when we came and met the 6th Region Chamber of Commerce, Dr. Melda Harris Barrow, who has been on the forefront of getting this bridge built between Mother Africa and the Americas. And I give credit to this powerful lady who has worked tirelessly and endlessly. She has almost visited so many countries in Africa just to sing the message. Time is now. And we are here to say, come home. Come home. And we are preparing. How will you come home? The landing, the process, and where you will go. This is what IDO will do. The 6th region is planning on the America side to tell those who want to come back home how to come back home. So this is a coalition of the willing. So we are actually here to tell you time is right. We must build a bridge. We must grow some trust, some respect, and go back to the values that we know as Africans we should be actually practicing them. So somebody has to try, and this is where IDO comes in. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You know, there's something powerful that you said, and that is that we need to understand that many of us, we have been sold the lie that we are nothing more than the offspring of slaves. And when people understand that their heritage is so much more valuable than that their heritage goes all the way back to Africa, where they have come from, kings and queens and chiefs, and it I think it ushers in a brand new mindset if you understand that you come from good stock. And I want to talk about that, but we're also going to talk about atonement. Why is atonement necessary, and what will that look like? We're going to talk about that, but we have to take a quick break. So stay with us. This is GPS Global Paradigm Shift. We are talking to an African king and queen and an ambassador about how to reconnect the diaspora to the motherland. Stay with us. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Best dress, hats off, looking like I walked out of catalog. Everybody wanna know where I got it from. Catwalk, 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 boutique, where we make fashion statements. Catwalk, boutique, where we make fashion statements.
For the latest styles in women's clothing and accessories, visit Catwalk Boutique on Robinson Road East at the Helron Plaza. At Catwalk Boutique, we make fashion statements.
At Lee Air, safety is our #1 priority. Flying since 1996, we offer scheduled flights into Fresh Creek and Mangrove Key Andros and Great Harbor Key, Berry Island, twice daily, 7 days a week. Affordable charter services are also available to anywhere in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Lee Air Charter Services. Call 225-3267, 702-7127, or 322-1317 for reservations.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
We are back. Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Glory 93.9 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm, and today's show we are calling Out of Africa, Repositioning the Long-Lost Children of the Motherland to Their Rightful Place. My guests today are His Excellency Paul J. Eganda and Her Excellency His Highness Paul J. Eganda and Her Highness Grace Eganda. And also joining us on the show today are His Excellency Ambassador Ireneo Namboka. Welcome to you all once again to GPS. So let's talk about atonement. Why is atonement something that we need to be discussing, and what does that look like as it relates to the work that you are doing to bring us all together? Let's start with His Highness and Her Highness.
The journey of atonement, as has been explained by His Excellency Ambassador Namboka, and I think His Highness has also touched on it, is a timely journey. It's overdue. It should have happened long before. But we are grateful to the 6th Region Chamber of Commerce under the leadership of Dr. Melinda Barrow for rising it up and helping us all realize that the time is right and the time is now. A bridge has been built, and it's upon that bridge that the journey of atonement is going to be undertaken. The journey of atonement is, I would say, a journey of healing. We all know what happened those so many 400 years ago. We all know the pain. And we all know that this issue has not been properly addressed. It is true that children missing from the continent, the motherland, sometimes have visited the motherland, but majority have not yet been welcomed in a befitting way. So in this journey of healing, in this journey of atonement, in this journey of unification, reunion, it's a journey of peace and a journey of love. The elders, who are the chiefs, the kings, the queens, the opinion leaders, the cultural leaders. In Africa, there is a hierarchy of respect and a hierarchy of authority that is highly respected. And those are our cultural leaders in their various capacities, as has been mentioned. They are coming to find the children. They are coming from Africa to find the children. And that is the journey that is going to be positioned in Panama, September 2021, 2022. And when they come, they are coming to give an embrace, to give the love, to say, child, you are welcome home. It has been a while. What our forefathers did, we are sorry about it. We do apologize about it. And not all of them did that, just a small percentage. The majority of them did resist it, as we know. We know of strong women in the Congo who stood, they rose and they fought. But unfortunately, they were fighting on ground that was not leveled. So eventually they got defeated. But we know there were lots of resistance, north, south, central. So the majority of the leaders or all the forefathers, it is not something they subscribe to. But on behalf of everyone, those who contributed as collaborators, they were also deceived, with little shiny things that really of not much value. And in the process of deception, of divide and rule and collaboration, the society is disintegrated in that manner. And there is so much hurt still going on. People's lives, people's opinions have been formed on a basis, sometimes, as you have mentioned, Michelle, of deception, of lies. And now we are saying, no, the truth must be told, because it's only the truth that will set us free. And it has to come through the leaders. That is why the cultural leaders are making that journey. It's going to be a historic and very significant moment in history. They are making that journey, and they are coming to find that child, to find those children. If you remember the story of the lost coin, the lady swept her house until she found that coin. It's like a mother. If one or some of your children are still out there, or a father, you cannot be at peace until they have come home, or until they know that they can come home as and when it pleases them. Have that sense of security and safety, to know that I'll be welcomed, I'll be embraced, I'll be looked after, I'll be loved. So that is why this journey is taking place. And that is the significance of this journey. When a child comes home, one of the children in the diaspora, they should not come just as tourists. No, you should be able to tell your neighbor who sees you maybe going to the airport, holding your suitcase. Just let them know, I'm going home. I'm going back home for 2 weeks. I'll see you later. Keep an eye on my mail or whatever it is. It is that kind of feeling that needs to be reinstated in our brothers and sisters, and to let them realize we are one house, we are one family. That is why that journey in September, beginning September 2021, but consolidated in September 2022, is going to be taking place.
All right, we're going to definitely talk more about that event. And I just want to say right here, thank you to Dr. Melita Harris-Barrow, who is the founder of the 6th Region Global Chamber of Commerce. She was supposed to be on today's show, but unfortunately was unable to make it. So I just want to say thank you to you, Dr. Melita, for helping to bring this together, both the show and, and the event that's taking place in Panama in September. Now, when you're talking about coming back home, I want you to help our people to understand what that means. Like you said, not just as a tourist, but there are many opportunities that await. Oftentimes when it comes to trade, Africa has not so much leaned or looked towards the Caribbean, but more so Europe, the United States. Now, through this effort, you're looking at how we can work together, Africa and the Caribbean, Africa and Latin America. So let us talk about what coming home really means as it relates to opportunities for the diaspora to work and earn together with those in the continent. I think you're muted again. Okay, we can hear you now.
Homecoming is key and has already begun on the continent. As you might be aware of countries like Ghana who have already opened their borders. The children are settling well, the children are comfortable. And why the 6th Global Chamber of Commerce, under the honorable leadership of our dear sister, Dr. Melinda, have done something significant, is they are opening this up to other areas. Now, what happens once the journey of atonement has taken place? The relationship will have been built, the trust will have been established, and now these children will feel comfortable to be able to come home and not just visit. They could come home and settle. And remember, when it comes to settling, they can settle wherever they so wish. As for the continent, it is true it has been sliced up and demarcated by those who did so. The Berlin Conference had their own interests at heart. This was a piece of cake where everyone wanted a share. But as far as we are concerned, that our children in the diaspora, our brothers and sisters, When they come home, maybe not for a visit, maybe for settlement, maybe for investment, maybe for trade, under the structures that have been developed with the 6th region together with IDO, this family will have a soft landing because they will be operating with people with whom they have developed a relationship of trust, with whom they can be able to navigate and find their places from point F to point B, people who can help them work with the governments that are in place, people who can, and structures, institutions such as this, in particular the 6th region and IDO, who can help them work through the cultural leadership, if it's land they want, who can give them that security in establishing whatever status they would like as they come to the continent. So that is very important, that to realize that there are lots of opportunities. There have been a lot of misconceptions, and that is why these two organizations are partnering to bridge that gap. For example, it has been said, oh, there is corruption in Africa. And we do not deny it. This is a global problem, if anything, even if it has been attached to Africa. It's a global, international problem. And it's a very bad disease that we, as IDO and the 6th Global Chamber of Commerce, are against and are determined to fight and put down, because this is a syndrome that has destroyed communities and individuals to extents that are unimaginable. But we believe that when we work together with our cultural leaders through IDO and the 6th Global Chamber of Commerce, we should be able to address all these issues as we support our brothers and sisters who would like to come and invest in the motherland. They will have that security, they will have that assurance, they will have that guidance and the leadership, especially of our cultural leaders. And we are trusting and believing that they will have testimonies to give that will encourage others to follow in their footsteps.
Well, quite frankly, there's corruption everywhere. And so that message that has been spread about there being so much corruption in Africa, there's corruption in the Bahamas, there's corruption in Europe, there's corruption in the United States, there's corruption everywhere. So I think it is very unfair, but I think it is also intentional that kind of language has been spoken against Africa, because as I would have pointed out in one of my previous shows, this has all been systemic and systematic to try to keep Africa in poverty, to try to keep Africa not fully realizing the potential of the development that is possible if they were to move away from just exporting raw materials, but actually processing them themselves. So this is a very systematic problem, because there are some in the Western world who want to keep Africa poor so that their people can continue to live wealthy lives from the backs of Africa. And we see the same thing happening here in the Bahamas, for instance, where the people of color are the majority, but we may have the political power per se, but we definitely do not have the economic power. And so this is a problem that is everywhere, not just in Africa. And I think it is very unfair to try to paint Africa in that light, but I do believe that is intentional. Healing. Let's talk about the importance of healing, because as you would have alluded to earlier, Your Highness, you talked about the role that some African leaders played in slavery, in selling their brothers and sisters into slavery. And there is this degree of mistrust, whether it be mistrust of a person still in Africa or mistrust of each other, to the point where even today we do not work together as much as we should, because this mistrust has been inbred in us. How important is it for us to have that healing that is necessary in order for us to be able to come together as one?
Thank you very much again. That's a very important question. A number of Africans, we mistrust each other. This has been a mindset which has been imparted on us over generations.
Yes.
We are meant to believe that we cannot trust each other. We cannot trade with each other. African Americans are happy to go to China to buy African gold 3 times the price, yet they can come direct to Africa and get that gold at a quarter that price, because they don't trust that Africa may sell them fake gold. Yet actually the Chinese may be doing the opposite. Now, that kind of mindset is what we are trying to educate our people. We have been conditioned to believe that we're actually not good enough to do what other people are doing. No, we are very, very good at what we do. We have been conditioned to think that if you trade with Africa, Africans are corrupt. Of course, some people are corrupt. There is corruption everywhere, as you have said. But who is going to stop this corruption? If we are happy to invest and develop the West and other countries, why don't we develop our own motherland and have the same lifestyle and better? We've got the most fertile land in the world, the highest mineral deposits in the world, freshwater lakes, everything is there. If we put the same knowledge, the same expertise and trust among our own, then I think we shall begin changing. Now, where the kings come in Africa, being a king, a chief, a cultural leader, is not a task you just wake up to become. No. This is a role you earn. It's based on trust, respect, dignity. There are certain things you cannot do because you're a role model and people expect better from you. This is why the model of Ido and the sixth region is a way to try to do things differently. Because Ido says, we have tried to do things the other way and we get these obstacles. Why don't we go through the custodians of this land, these minerals, the people? These kings, chief, queens, they don't change. They are there to stay. They are not politicians that they go for election after 5 years, 4 years, and they change. No, it will be the same person who will be there years after years. If they die, another one will come from the same royal lineage. So we believe that if we have to bridge the gaps, let's go through these kingdoms, these cultural institutions, where these people actually care and love their people. Even the people we look at being corrupt, these are our brothers, our friends. They are the same people in government. Okay? Just as you said, we might have the political power, but we do not have the economic power to negotiate or even to debate. If a foreigner owns half of your gold mines and gives you what you think you should get, what say do you have? Remember, the land and those gold mines are owned mostly by these local people, these traditional leaders, but what is underground there, they don't have the capacity and the means to get it out and empower their own people. That is where you, me, and all of us can come in and say, look here, we can come together and do this. Change this one little kingdom, city, country, and move on from there. So the kings have got a role, the queens have got a role. Now, to answer to your question, why we believe that the healing and the spiritual healing can only come through the cultural roots. In Africa, kings, queens in that position, by the oath and the power authority upon them, there are certain things they cannot do. They are only ones with the power to cleanse certain situations. This particular one has to be done by the royal lines, who actually know that even what happened 400 years ago, the kings and the kingdom knew better. They were the opinion leaders. If they participated in one more, if their ancestors participated in one way or the other, it's only them who can do it. No ordinary person can cleanse. This spiritual healing has to come. Kings, queens do not say sorry, do not apologize. But if they come on their knees, I give an example 1 week ago when we launched Roots of Africa, one of the most spiritual, powerful kings in South Africa went on his knees to say to Dr. Melinda Barrow, I am sorry for what happened 400 years ago, because these are people from the Zulu land. You know, they participated more in defending their land and they fought the wars. So the history is still being told. So when they come and say, we are sorry, time has come, we are ready to come to the Americas and do what we should have done long time ago. Michelle, I think that's a very powerful statement that you cannot get in such kings of today. So I think we're on the right track. We only appeal to you, to all our brothers in the diaspora in the Americas. Let's start trusting each other. Let's start loving each other. Let's not take what we are told to be the gospel truth. No. Go, come and find out. Go to Africa and find out. Even if you cannot, at least start the journey for your children and your generation to know where you came from. We know most of you come from the royal lines, and it's the only way you can discover. Most of you say you're from the Congo. It is true, you're from there. And what does the Congo mean? So you need to come and get this question answered. And this journey is the beginning. So about this journey, Ambassador is leading this team, and he will be in position to tell us more how it has been planned. But for me, on behalf of the kings, the chiefs, and the royal families that are planning to come, we are ready, and we are going to be working with the 6th region, Dr. Melinda Harris and her team, to make sure we start the journey. And we have already started.
I'm going to give the ambassador an opportunity to talk about that after our next break. I want to focus the show towards the actual event in the next portion. But I want to read a text before we go there. And this writer says, Michelle, first let me say, as a citizen of the Bahamas, what an honor it is to see and listen to your majesties and the ambassador. One thing that the global African diaspora and African countries have to do is find a way to control the international media narratives. Because for decades, the Western media has portrayed Africa as a bad, dirty place, only filled with starving people. We have to buy TV stations, radio stations, be aggressive in all social media campaigns, etc., to show the beauty, diversity, brilliance, entrepreneurship, royalty, and wealth of African countries and African history and its descendants. Because what we see and hear consistently is what we begin to believe. This is so very true, and this is exactly what we were talking about with my stylist this morning. You know, when I had the opportunity to visit South Africa, they took us to several different provinces, and one of the stops where we went, there were these elderly women who were selling African treats. And when they opened up the container, one of the women was selling what I know to be my grandmother's coconut tart. And I was like, oh my goodness, my grandmother used to make this. We call it coconut tart. It was a completely different name. And then they also had what we know in the Bahamas as coconut cake, which is like caramelized coconut and sugar with the peanuts or whatever. They were selling coconut cake and Benny cake in Africa. I'm like, wow. So what it did for me, it really cemented the connection. And I really felt, you know, you hear it, you're taught it in schools, you know, you're descendants of Africa, etc. But to actually go there and experience that was surreal. It was truly a spiritual experience. And, you know, we honestly have to find a way to bring this all together. I'm really happy to hear about this event that's coming up in September, because people need to know that what is being portrayed by the media is not what you will find there. It is not. They have done a very good job of villainizing the continent, because I believe they want to keep us separate, because they understand that there is power in that unity. If we were to come together, begin to trust each other, begin to work with each other, my God, what could we not achieve? And so I believe that they understand that. And they are intentionally trying to keep us apart and intentionally painting this picture of, the only thing that you will find in Africa is starving children and corruption and poverty and all this kind of stuff. Whereas when you go there, you see something completely different. And so I really want to encourage, COVID-19 has really made it difficult for people to do much of anything, much less travel all the way to Africa. But hopefully when this is over and life goes back to normal to some degree, I would like to encourage as many of you as possible to, if you can afford to go on vacation, go visit Africa. You would be shocked. You would be amazed, and you would be, I believe, spiritually moved to see the connection between what we know to be our culture and what you will find in Africa. Some years ago, I had an opportunity to briefly interview Nelson Mandela when he came to the Bahamas for a visit. And they took him to one of our premier cultural expression in the Bahamas is a ceremony we call Jankanu. And it is where it stems from the days of slavery, when the one time that the slave masters gave the slaves off was around Christmas time. And they would find whatever instruments they could find, whether it be an empty bottle filled with rocks or whatever, and they made music and danced. And so this is passed on from generation to generation, and it's become this huge cultural festival we call Jankanu. And as much as it has evolved and, all the bright, colorful costumes and the artistry, there's one thing that has not changed from way back then, and that is the beat of the African drums. And I remember as I was interviewing Nelson Mandela, I said to him, "What do you think of this parade?" Because he was sitting there enjoying it. And he said, "The beat of the drums is the same beat I hear in Africa today." And I thought, my God. So we have to understand that we really must cut through all of the negative narrative, cut through all of the barriers that have been trying to keep us separated, and find a way to come together and work together for the betterment of the continent, for the betterment of the diaspora, for the betterment of us all. We have to begin to work together. We have to begin to work together. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk specifically about the Road to Atonement, the event that is coming up in September that's going to be held in Panama. That is a joint effort between the 6th Region Global Chamber of Commerce and Ireneo. We're going to talk more about that on the other side. Stay with us. This is GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Glory 93.9 FM.
Ocean blue is the best in seafood, hey, hey. Fresh out the water and affordable too, yeah. We got fish, conch, lobster, shrimp, everything you want. Ocean blue got it. Ocean blue, friendly and clean, best service you ever seen. Ocean blue is the best in seafood, hey. Fresh out the water and affordable too, hey. Ocean blue seafood, we are here for you. Ocean blue seafood, no one else will do. Ocean Blue Seafood, located on Bernard Road. Contact us at 393-2160.
Looking for an extraordinary junior high school with caring, qualified staff and affordable tuition? Then come visit us at Elite School of Excellence, an affiliate of First Step Academy. ABECA-focused and Ministry of Education approved, we foster discipline, integrity, and wisdom while molding our students for success. Call us at 341-8846 or stop by First Step Academy Schools on Fire Trail and Soldi Roads for more information. Escape from the city life to Bacon Air Beach Resort in Pirateswell, Mayaguana. Relax in one of 16 air-conditioned rooms just steps away from the ocean. Enjoy scrumptious dishes in our waterfront dining room. Sip on a tropical cocktail, or if you must, stay connected with wireless internet. Nestled on one of the most beautiful beaches in the Bahamas, Bacon Air Beach Resort offers a unique vacation experience. For reservations, call 339-3726 or 463-0182.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
For all your building needs, it's Carib Construction and Project Management on Gladstone Road. We build it all: schools, homes, hotels, and more, including structures requiring a Phase 3 electrical contractor. We also provide project management services. The first step towards your dream building begins at Carib Construction and Project Management. Call us at 376-1556 or 341-4466. And welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Glory 93.9 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm, and today my guests and I are discussing, I'm calling the show today Out of Africa, and we are looking at repositioning the long-lost children of the motherland to their rightful place. And my guests are His Excellency Ireneo Namboka, but Her Highness and His Highness Paul J. Eganda and Grace Eganda. And I want to say once again, thank you so much for being a part of the show today. I want to read a couple of the comments from Facebook. And let's see. Sylvie says, good morning. You certainly look the part. The necklace is simply breathtaking. Thank you, Sylvie. I want to encourage all of you who love the jewelry that I wear on the show to check out Chevette Williamson Jewelry. You can find her stuff on beadingandcraftgallery.com, beadingandcraftgallery.com. And if you use GPS as the code on checkout, you will get a discount for being a GPS subscriber. So thank you so much. She does incredible work using indigenous materials. Stacy says, yes, Lady Malcolm, truth is we are all connected. We really are, but you really feel it and see it when you visit Africa. Honestly, it was a spiritual experience for me. Delphine, love the necklace. It's beautiful. The show about our history is long overdue. I agree. And Alex says, the royal bloodline of the kings controls everything. All right. So let's get our guests back into this conversation. Now, we've been talking about the Road to Atonement and this special event that's coming up in September. And Ambassador, I know that you are here representing both AIDO and speaking about the relationship that you were able to put together with the 6th Region Global Chamber of Commerce. So tell us about this event that's coming up in September and what that will look like and how our listeners can get involved and should get involved.
Thank you very much indeed. Please kindly, before I say specific response to that question, that invitation, I'd like to echo the word Ateker, which His Highness explained as meaning a nation.
Right.
Ateker is vital in the understanding of what I'm going to say afterwards on the African side of the equation. Ateker, meaning a nation, would like Africa's children in the diaspora to know that Africa is a nation. what has been put in the minds of many people in the world and even people in Africa is to think in terms of little pieces and bits and pieces. Colonial decisions were made in 1885, creating little pieces and saying this will be mine, that piece will be mine. And so we think in terms of little places, Ghana, Angola, Mozambique, Uganda, Egypt. All this is the creation of the world that is dividing up and not seeing Africa as one nation. I've been online and I've seen great personalities like King Bongani of South Africa III, who said, we Africans are actually a nation. We are one people. That is important so that when the children of Africa in the diaspora hear what we are talking about in the name of Africa, they understand that these people are one people. And we've diversified different regions, but essentially we are speaking one voice. We are the African nations representatives. So the package, the program for the 2022 Panama event was discussed at length between IDO and the 6th Regional Chamber of Commerce, the Global Chamber of Commerce, and it involves a number of things that will be done jointly. And I think our listeners, our people watching us would like to hear this. The project is very complex. There is the cultural part, which means on the part of Africans, kings and queens and great chiefs, artists of talent, and all sort of cultural aspects will be prepared in Africa by experts, competent specialists, and will be made to come and be seen by the people of Africa in the Americas as manifestations of the grandeur of that continent. We just said that what happens that the press every single day and night and over the last 300 years has been portraying Africa as a place of misery, of lunacy, of all the stupid things you can imagine. And in the package of the journey 2022 will be an occasion to bring Africans with their cultural showpieces, pride, intelligent, stand tall and high, and show to these children of Africa whose education, unfortunately, has also been to denigrate and look down about Africa and have no particular attraction to the land of their ancestors. So that will be mainly in the cultural side. There will be 10 baskets. This means different groups, different categories of things to be brought for the children of Africa and the diaspora to see and, where necessary, taste and feel that this is true Africa as it used to be. Now, we also know that we are going to have to help transform mindsets in Africa and in the diaspora. It has been said above, for the last 400 years, there has been a systematic teaching of people using lies, misinformation, and denigration. And IDO has a plan which will facilitate, if we succeed in what we're planning, to arrange training, educating, and opening the eyes of people in Africa and people in the diaspora through exchanges. Young people can go from, say, Panama, from Bahamas, from Colombia, from Haiti or Jamaica, spend a month, 2 months on the continent, sometimes even a year, so that we have people in the future who know the best part of Africa, like our host has just said. You've said you went to Africa, went to South Africa, and discovered it isn't misery. People aren't stupid. People aren't monkeys or sleeping on trees. We want to facilitate and expand that kind of exchange program. Dr. Barrell and I have had time and again discussed details we cannot have time for to go through here. There will be also the physical coming to the Americas of distinguished Africans, not like little me talking to you here. His Highness is there, but there are people of that caliber that will come in person, flesh and bone, and speak to the people of African descent who, up till now, are treated as second-class pieces of creation by God. It's a lunacy manifestation to even think that way. And we're proud, even as we speak now, that some of the things we're going to share with the people of African descent in the Americas were seen a long, long time ago by children of African descent, such as Marcus Garvey, Du Bois, and everybody knows the initiative Dr. Martin Luther King, who preached peace and love, and indeed left what Ido has picked up now. We have a dream. We have a dream that African children in the diaspora will regain their full humanity. And you'll discover as we go along that Ubuntu, which means that which makes a human being human, is a philosophy that goes right through the thinking of Ido. And there will be programs of exchange and even research. The program, from the Ido point of view, particularly within the Department of Cultural Manifestations and Heritage, we intend to come and let the children of African descent in the diaspora discover that Africa has had mastery in medicine, intelligence that even present best brains in the West have not discovered. The people they call the Bushmen of the Kalahari Desert discovered the trick fighting obesity. These are boys who could go hunting for 4 days without a meal. And there isn't a single obese person among the Bushmen, but they have the medicine. It wasn't discovered by anybody outside the continent. That kind of knowledge. Last time we had one doctor, an African doctor, born in Uganda, but now living in South Africa, who is called Dr. Malaria. But he's called Dr. Malaria because he has discovered a cure to malaria, a big killer of people on the continent. And probably this is where intelligence and talent come together with business, because what is necessary is to get this kind of brain financed by investors, and Africa will have what they need, and probably people with economic capacities in the diaspora can sponsor that kind of person, and the credit will be African. I could go and explain very many things that this program means. Now, there is also the business side, as I said, linking what is typically African for pride, for self-realization, and benefits. The 6th Regional Chamber of Commerce is a chamber of commerce. The world has been a little bit lopsided. Everybody in Africa has been brought up to think London, to think Paris, and think New York or Japan. and today Beijing. But Africans have to unlearn that imbecility and begin to think about, what about those great brains that are African, that we could work hand in hand and make a positive step. Like His Highness has spoken about, Africa is full of gold, but instead of trading in gold directly with people who are business entrepreneurs in the diaspora, where Africa's own children are, they trade with China first. And then these children go to China to buy trinkets instead of the real gold. All these are the thinking processes that drive IDO to push a transformation of the mindset, both in Africa and in the diaspora, because, as you said, it's true. Those who have taught you from childhood teach you not to be proud to be African even. They teach you that an African is an imbecile whose mastery is only corruption.
Yes.
Now, when children in the diaspora hear that's what our ancestors do, they can't feel proud. IDO is rising and wants to rectify that kind of stupidity. And we embark on a multi-dimensional project that is human, that is economic, that is cultural, that is scientific. And we trust that when we have started, it will be self-propelling, because one aspect of IDO's action plan leads on to another. And that is probably saying just a little bit of what, as I speak to you today, Michelle, we have a memorandum of understanding already signed between IDO and the 6th Regional Global Chamber of Commerce. IDO is working like termites. You see, in Africa, we know we have termites. They don't rest until the anthill is up in the sky. And we do not sleep. We mean business. And one of the commitments IDO has taken by undertaking this journey of reconciliation, because you said, how come we speak now of this atonement? There always comes a time for something.
Mm-hmm.
It has been long overdue. And probably leadership, be it spiritual, be it political, be it economic, has not turned to the issue of the common humanity that links the people of African descent to Africa as a continent. This is where IDO comes up with a new thinking pattern, that Africa has everything. Africa was the world power before the birth of Christ. 5,000 years ago, science has proven that Africa taught the world religion. Africa taught the world geometry and science and biology. Africa constructed pyramids, which the Aztec and Incas imitated. Of course, those who have read the book, They Came Before Columbus, will remember that our ancestors 5,000 years ago crossed the Atlantic, created civilization. This has been destroyed over the last 100 years. But IDO has been digging, and we're still digging, and we shall reveal truths. And as you say, your followers are saying, we need to embark on reversing the lies and get the truth known. So there is education, there is handshaking, there is embracing, and the question of coming and showing the people of the diaspora that kings and queens from the continent, not anybody, kings and queens, standing up, coming and saying, sorry, dear descendants of our own people, this may be coming a little late, but it's always better late than never. And that's how the people you're talking to now come to deliver in advance. Your next question, if you do feel you want to ask me again.
Well, there's so much there. And honestly, the mindset is where it all begins. Because if people understand that, as you so eloquently described a moment ago, that Africa really was the source of so much knowledge, even down to hygiene. The Europeans that now look down on Africa and people of African descent had to go to Africa to learn how to have proper hygiene. Yeah, you ever hear the statement we all say the person don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out? Well, the reason they say that is because they used to literally relieve themselves in a pot and then throw it out the window. Bathing was something these people were not familiar with. They could go for weeks without taking a bath. And they had to go to Africa to learn proper hygiene. So these are the people who are looking down on us. But yet we were the ones, our ancestors were the ones that taught them so much. But they've done a very, very good job, at changing the narrative and keeping our people in ignorance. You cannot act on what you do not know. And so if you do not know that this is your legacy, if you do not know that this is your history and your ancestry, then you cannot act on that. You cannot become all that you should become with the empowerment of that knowledge. And so we honestly, I'm so looking forward to the event in September, because I think that it will be truly a bridge that will take us to the place where we can come together and learn that we have to work together. We have to learn to trust each other. We have to identify the job that has been done on our mindsets and then do the work to reverse that, because it is going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of work. And I believe that this event coming up is just the beginning. It's the first step towards that atonement, towards that healing, towards the establishment of trust between us. But I think it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of work to actually see it come to fruition. And so I'm really excited about this event coming up. I think it's going to be phenomenal. And I'm hoping that, it will be, I'm sure, listen, if Melida is behind it, then I know it's going to be a success, because she doesn't know how to do anything but succeed. And so I'm really looking forward to hearing more about it and learning how we all can come together and make our way to Panama to be a part of that event. You're talking culture, you're talking history, you're talking trade, and healing all in one place. And I think it's going to be phenomenal. I want to read one of our comments from Facebook. This says, everything begins with the transformation and the renewing of your minds and mindsets, because a lot of minds have been programmed and fed with garbage to destroy the people of Africa and their descendants. That is a message coming in from Alex. And it is so true that this has been done. And we have to now understand that we have to actively move towards healing and changing the narrative, so that our young people especially will come to the knowledge that, you come from royalty. You are not just the descendants of slaves. You are the descendants of royalty. And I believe that once they understand the source of the knowledge that has really built so many nations around the world, let's face it, we built this. The free labor that they got from us is what built these nations. And so if we understand that and understand that knowledge, that expertise began in Africa, then I think it's a game changer as it relates to healing that mindset and helping our young people especially to understand that they should aspire to more. And so I want to talk specifically, Your Highness, about the role that the kings and queens are going to be playing in this event in September. I know that many of you have come together and said, yes, we will be a part of this. What do you hope to bring to the table at that event? And let's make sure that you are unmuted. We got to be able to hear you. Okay.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Ambassador Namboka. You have eloquently explained the journey and the I also thank you, Michelle, to given us this opportunity to explain what we are trying to achieve here. The kings, the queens, and the traditional rulers in Africa will come together. Not all of them will come together, but yes, we have started a journey. A number of kingdoms have registered interest. A number of countries have registered interest. But as an organization, we already have got a network of kingdoms, kings, and queens that we work with. So we agree on things that we want to do before they happen. So we understand that most of the people, if we are going to Panama as a beginning, it's the first place. We know that a number of people from these countries came from the Congo. Historically, for us, the Congo is not really the Democratic Republic of Congo. Congo was referred to all those tribes that spoke the language within Bantu. That's why you find that the foods and the drums of those tribes, they don't change. They actually identify where they came from. Even when they get the bottle and start beating, and you get the rhythm, it will be placed to a certain country or kingdom in Africa. Those are some of the things that you may not actually look into, but that actually pinpoints the identity of that particular tribe, because particular rhythms of the drums actually pinpoint the tribe, and where that tribe is in Africa also points the ancestry of that particular person. The kings have got spiritual powers. They are the only ones with those kind of powers. They are the ones with the powers to cleanse. Their word is very important. And even we feel that unless we've made this journey of atonement, Africa is possibly suffering, maybe because we did not act fast enough to do what we are doing now. We also want, during our generation, to start the process. And this is where exactly I give high credit to Dr. Melida Harris Barrow. Because when we met this lady, what she said, we realized that actually we think the same. We share the same vision and mission. Somebody has to start. So, as IDO, we are putting this together, and we've put down a program called Roots of Africa. Roots of Africa is a program that's going to be running for the next few months. This is more about preparing both the kings and the queens and the Africans in the diaspora what to expect. We also believe that some of the people may want to return to Africa at some point, but we also want them to understand a little about our cultures. We know we've grown from different continents, and there's a lot of influence and mindset. So to try to tackle this particular challenge, the main challenge here is the mindset. If we can start understanding how each other thinks, especially this notation that Africans are corrupt, they are not good, because the TV, one of your guests said that Africa should own the media and the press. Yes, that is where the actual problem starts. When you are fed with that information for the rest of your life, you are reluctant to find the alternative. So we are trying to argue, all of you, the Africans in the diaspora, find the alternative. Go and seek the information. Sometimes, for us who are traditionalists, we believe that unless you return to your place of birth, foundation, you cannot also be at peace. Maybe your ancestors are calling you. Maybe they are telling you, why are you suffering here, yet you have where to go? So the reason why the kingdoms now are very important here, because we know it is not easy for someone just to wake up and go to Africa. The process might be complicated. That's why IDO and the sixth region are set up structures. If you want to return to Africa, you register with the sixth region, they connect you to IDO. IDO has got chapters, offices in 10 countries in Africa, and is growing more. These chapters, offices are run by kings, queens, and the women and men of God who run churches. They will receive you, they will connect you or place you to the particular kingdom or the traditional area that you believe you want to know to see. So this is going to start some kind of relationship. When they come to Panama, we shall invite you to the IDO and the sixth region conventions in Africa, which we plan to have each every year in a different country in Africa. In these countries, we invite the kingdoms to come and welcome you. We will tour each kingdom and each king. You get to know them. We believe that this exercise will start making you realize that actually Africa is not what you think. So in September this year, a little group from Africa, which will include a few people, king or queen, will visit Panama during the expo just to see how the situation is. Then we shall invite people from Panama and Americas, the Africans, to come to Ghana, where we shall have the annual convention in Accra. Now, in that place, we shall organize a package of touring the kingdoms that we hope will be coming in 2022. We targeting Ghana and Mombasa because that's where there was the best getaway. There's door of no return. You know, that house built by the water, whereby when you get out to the ship, you never come back. That's where there was quite a site that must be visited by all our brothers and sisters who are in the Americas. So there are these slave markets, museums, and the gates of no return in different countries and ports. So when you reconnect with this past, we believe that something will change in you. You will want to do more than criticizing what is happening there. So the kings are and the queens are a part of parcel of the success of this, because we believe that these are the people who own the land, who are believed, who are respected, who've got followers. So putting you under them is a source of security, is a source of trust. So this goes into the details of what's going to happen there. But the actual journey, a team of kings, we are working on that now. And by the end of this year, we should know. But the aim here is to have a king or a queen representing each country in Africa come to Panama, especially from the Congo areas, because we know some of our descendants came from Angola, South Africa, Congo, Ghana, Benin. So we have these kings with us. We have these traditional rulers. We are talking to them. So we want to speak the same language. So this exercise will be going on, and there will be quite exchange of this between two sides to get to know the geography, the history, and also people like yourself. This is the forum and the media where all this information can be dispersed to our people. Again, as somebody said, the media plays a role. You've got a role, Michelle Malcolm, to preach the right message to your people. This is the start, because it's people like you with a microphone who actually reach the others and say, look here, why don't you try and find option B? We've been told it is. Of course, we've been trained. Now we have to translate them. There is also another way. So we are looking up to you to use that microphone rightfully to reach out to our brothers and sisters, wherever they are in the diaspora. We're also working hard within Africa to talk with our kings, our leaders, our elders, to understand that this is a need. So whatever is possible, we are trying to make it a comfortable return when you come, when you decide to come. Even in our generation, if we don't make it, at least we would have started the journey. So back to you with the microphone. You've got a duty to fulfill, not just tell our people there are opportunities there, they are welcome, and there's an organization called IDO and the 6th region. We are ready to work with anybody, any of our sisters and brothers, regardless where they are in the world, to help them find a way to come back to Africa. Thank you.
This is good. This is good. We have to take a quick break. And when we come back, I want to specifically talk to Her Highness about what is passionate for her as it relates to women and children. I know that this is a great passion of hers, and we're going to talk about that and more on the other side of the break. So stay with us. This is GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Glory 93.9 FM.
Located on Carmichael Road, Divine Designs Hair Boutique is a haven for women and men looking for professional beauty services. Our state-of-the-art and contemporary equipment creates a relaxing ambiance for you to enjoy while we cater to you. Need a hairstylist? We cater to all types and textures of hair for care and styling. We even have a barber on duty. Need a nail tech? Our technicians provide a range of nail services, including the latest trends. Unwind in one of our massage chairs while you get your pedicure. With our reasonable rates, friendly staff, and over 20 years of experience, you will be in great hands. Call us at 823-1669 or 698-1025 to schedule your appointment. Wanna be pampered? Wanna be slayed? Let Divine Designs make your day.
Want to look your best and feel even better? Visit JD Edwards Salon and Spa for the ultimate beauty, body, and anti-aging treatments, offering custom colors, haircuts, vegan anti-freeze treatments, silk blowouts, natural and acrylic nails, unisex pedicures, facials, and massages, all waxing services, and microcurrent therapies for anti-aging and body sculpting. JD Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madeira Street, telephone 326-7863.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Glory 93.9 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm, and today we are talking out of Africa, and we're talking about how to reconnect the diaspora with our brothers and sisters still in the African continent. And today we're talking to royalty about how kings and queens of the continent are coming together. There's a major event that is being planned for September 22nd It's going to be held in Panama. That will be the road to atonement, bringing us all together to learn how to work together. I want to read a couple of comments from here on Facebook. And listen, I got so deep into this conversation, I forgot to put out the phone lines. Forgive me. The telephone number to call if you want to talk to one of our guests today is 828-3543. 828-3543 is the number to call, and the text line is 828-543. 828-2543 is the number to text. So let's go ahead now and show some of your comments from Facebook. Terry says, Africa was great and great we are still. Let's teach the children to shout it out loud. I am black and proud. We walk proud over the land out of Africa. It all began from Egypt to South Africa. History was shaped and written by the conquerors. I appreciate your guest historical narratives. All right. Thank you so much, Terry. Now I have a couple of comments from this person from South Africa, and I'm not even going to attempt to call your first name. I'll just call you by your last name. Okay, how's that? Mahua is the last name. Says, thank you for this, Aido, such important journey and history in the making. And he also says that is very true. His Highness Eganda, this journey will change the narrative about Africa and what was falsely represented on behalf of Africa. Now Africa is telling its own stories. Indeed, I am from South Africa, and we are ready to welcome the descendants of Africa back home. All right. And Smith King says, blessed be the Most High God, name elders. Thanks. I'm from the tribe of Judah, but I like the color blue. Okay. I'm not sure what that is supposed to mean. All right. And we're going to read one more. And this again is from Mahua, which says, please do follow Aido on Aido Youth Network and on Twitter and Instagram, Aido Network. You may also visit the website, idonetwork.org, idonetwork.org. Okay, so let us now bring Her Highness into this conversation as it relates to your passion of working with girls and women. Tell us about that passion, what it is that you are hoping to do to elevate women, both in the continent of Africa and in the diaspora.
Yeah, that subject or topic of women, girls, the girl child is central to any community or society. We know that the smallest unity of or unit of any community or society is the family. And we know that for any family to stand, the woman has a key role, a pivotal role to uphold that home. That's why it is said that when mom is not home, the lights are off. Women and girls, for various reasons, have been left behind in the puzzle. We know and we understand that when we talk about women, I'm thinking about my sister, I'm thinking about my mother, I'm thinking about my grandmother, I'm thinking about my auntie. And I believe many of us can relate to that. When we talk about girls, we are thinking about our daughters, our dear, beloved, precious daughters. So they have to be central to any conversation when we talk about development and progress, this, that, and the other. And yet we are aware that due to cultural practices, due to economic imbalances, the ground has not been level and has not been fair to our daughters, our mothers, and our sisters. And we come in as Aido and the Sixth Chamber of Commerce saying that if society, if indeed the family is the smallest unit of any community, and the woman is the backbone to the family, for that community to stand up tall and progress in all areas, socially, economically, and otherwise, then the family must stand. Because when the family is destroyed, then a community is destroyed. When the community is destroyed, the whole society, a nation, and the world at large will not move on the way it should. So that's why the subject of women and girls is central. And to begin to understand this problem as to how we got left behind, we as Aido, because we stand for culture and we honor the role culture has to play in upholding our communities. Because, you know, they say a people without culture are people who are lost. There is an African proverb that says that one without culture is like a zebra without stripes. So you wouldn't be able to be identified. That is your identity. One would not know what category of animal kingdom you belong to. It is also said that one of the African proverbs also says that you can change a tree can change its leaves seasonally, but a tree can never change its roots, because your culture is what feeds you, is what anchors you, is what holds you high up, and what you can rely on, because it's just who you are. It's your way of life. So while we promote all these beautiful aspects about our culture, while we promote all these, as His Highness and Ambassador have mentioned, there are also aspects of our culture. Of course, first of all, if I may reflect on the aspects that we promote, there's several programs that promote our culture. The latest being the Roots of Africa, where we are showcasing the beauty of culture. And the bulk of it is really beautiful. But there is that proportion that is still holding us down, holding the girl child down, holding the mother down, holding the woman down. And that one must be addressed, because if it is not, then there will be a disconnect still. So we have different human rights programs. We call them empowerment programs that are meant to uplift and elevate the women. And through these empowerment programs, we are bringing education and understanding, saying that this is the way you have done things for long. For a long time, it has been okay for the girl child to stay home because she has no right to education. And as we say this, we say it with love to our sons as well, because our sons are going to be the fathers of tomorrow, the leaders of tomorrow, the men in our lives. So we love them and we move with them. But regardless, they have been looked after, and they have a good, they have a good proportion of the benefits that come with progress. But we realize that the girl child has been marginalized, and she has a lot of catching up to do, because we know the role she will have to play in our progress is key. So she must be invited to the table, and she must be heard, and she should be able to make a contribution, because her contribution is central. And without it, the puzzle will never be complete. So we are looking at a situation here where we say, how do we as IDO and the 6th region come in? In IDO, we have a human rights program, as has been mentioned. So through the spirit of Ubuntu, because we always approach everything we do with a cultural perspective, knowing that our cultural leaders, some of them don't mean to carry out these practices that way. That is all they know. That is the way it has been. That is the normal. So sometimes people need education and enlightenment to be told that, no, it can be done differently. It doesn't have to be like that. So we are empowering through the Ubuntu program, human rights program. It's a program that is strategic in approach. It works in harmony with the cultural understanding, saying that we come in peace, we come in love. We do not come with the banner of under the law. No, it doesn't always work like that. And it has been received with willingness. So that is one thing. Educate, enlighten people. Let them get to know different. And in simplicity, as Ambassador said, Ubuntu is just a humanity initiative. I am because you are. That is the spirit of mutual respect. And it starts right from the leadership, because they are the ones who make the policies that rule our communities. So we are using such programs to bring understanding, because they say a lack of knowledge is why our people perish. So let the people get to know the truth and see the other side of the coin. And people are embracing this. We also, through this pandemic, have had various educational programs online. We've had limitations, but we have said, regardless, we are resilient and the work must continue. So we are equipping our girls and women, and not only our girls and women. As I said, we believe in a family-oriented kind of approach. So as we put the girls and women at the forefront, we say, our sons, you're welcome. The dads are welcome, the whole family unit. So through this education program, we work really well with our partners. We have an ICT partnership with Connector, thanks to them. It's an ICT skill impartation. So, and there's a variety that they offer. that one will choose to where they feel their passion is or their purpose is. We've got business skills, we've got entrepreneur skills. So there's a lot. So that is to tap into. And we welcome the wider public as well to be part of it, because as we said, IDO, we are a network, and the more we reach out to, the better, because we don't want anyone to be left behind. So besides that, we have also looked at what are some of the things that are holding the girl child and the woman down. And we have noticed that some of our daughters, it's the house chores and responsibilities such as water. These children travel for miles to collect water that is not that clean, and it takes a bulk of their time. So what IDO is doing, we have decided to solve this problem by trying to establish some water points that are accessible, boreholes, so that these children can have more time to focus on their education and other things that matter in the right way. So the water project, we believe, will be key to relieving the yoke or that burden of collecting water and give them more time to focus on the education and other skills.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize that you had another point that you wanted to make, because we're running a little low on time, but I wanted to hear from His Highness on this issue. And here's why, because oftentimes when you hear about the oppression of women and children, sometimes, at least in our culture, men believe that it is their rightful place to be dominating. And I see you're a strong African queen, and you have a strong African king sitting beside you. And I would like this African king to speak to the men of the diaspora about why you should not be afraid to allow a girl and woman to be her best self. I think, listen, no disrespect to you, Her Highness Grace, no disrespect to you. But when it comes to men, sometimes they got to hear from another man, the kind of way. So I want this African king to speak to the African kings of the diaspora so they could understand that they don't have to be afraid or threatened by allowing a woman or a girl to be her best self. What say you, His Highness?
Thank you very much. That's a technical question. And I agree with Her Highness here that the way we are brought up in Africa and the way the culture is, a woman has got her place and a man has got his place. But times have changed. We now have equal rights. Now, these equal rights are built on respect, trust, and love. Allowing your wife to go to school and get a PhD does not undermine you with your only first degree. So our men, even in the diaspora, we still have that thing. That, again, that's what connects you to Africa, because there are still those beliefs that we used to have from our ancestors. For example, women should not sit on the table, women should eat on the floor, women should not eat certain dishes like chicken, So all these were roles made by men to try and be dominant. But I would like to tell the men in the diaspora, no, if you want to build a strong family, grow whatever you are doing, you must respect your wife, you must work together as a team. Women do complement a lot. There are things women actually think that women cannot, and women are naturally problem solvers. So sometimes it is the issue about pride. Humility takes you very far, So I stand with Her Highness here that yes, we must empower our wives, our children, our girls. They should be given equal opportunities like anybody else. I know some of my counterparts may not agree with me at this point, but it is just the right way to go if you want to grow and embrace peace. Thank you. Let me give back to Her Highness.
Is that okay? Is that okay, Michelle?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'll just wrap it up. I'll not go into detail because it's a topic that is so deep and wide. Yeah, so those are some of the things I was just highlighting, projects that we are working on to support our girls. And I thank His Highness for his continued support in this regard. And just to summarize on that, we've also realized that the schools that these children, our girls, go to need little support. The children are playing football. The ground is not level. They are playing football barefooted or sports. So when we get equipment such as sports equipment or something to support the administration, the teachers are still writing exams on the chalk and board. If we get, we've tried to support with, ICT equipment, a little printer here, a little computer. And we believe these baby steps are in a way supporting, the communities. As I said, the need is vast and the resources, I wouldn't say are limited, but have not yet reached them and are always welcome. We welcome like-minded people to support our local communities on the grassroots. And maybe if I may conclude on this aspect of what we are doing, one other thing we realized is that with the women, we all know that our mothers are the givers of life. But in the process of giving life, many of them have very sadly ended their own. And we have thought of what we can do. So in our way of contribution, and we know life is a basic human right anyway. So, and it's very tragic that any woman should lose it in the process of giving the same. So we've got our local clinics, dispensaries, and hospitals. So what I do with the sixth chamber do is channel those resources. We've done so with delivery beds. We've done so with PPE, simple things like gloves and the like. But we believe they have impacted and helped here and there. And Michelle, before I conclude, I just want to touch on something small again. Not small, it's very significant that we are doing. And that has to do also with the mindset that our daughters have been conditioned into. Because it all starts up in the mind. What is the setting of your mind? How have you set your mind? Because that is how you will operate. So we need to increase the visibility of women and to acknowledge and celebrate the role that they play. When I talk about the mindset, what happened to Black beauty? What happened to self-belief? What happened to self-identity? Why do you have to wait for somebody else to validate you in any kind of relationship or agreement? These are questions that we need to address. So mentorship is one of the things that we do with our girls through seminars, through conferences, but we are there. They have a calling point. And they are aware that, there are people they can run to in times of need. It is said that, I know the environment has affected our thinking and the experiences that we have been through over the years, as has already been said, has shaped our thinking a lot. But it is said that I always like sometimes to use scripture, please permit me. The word of God says that as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And that's why it goes on, the word of God goes on to say that be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Renewal of a mind is something that cannot be overemphasized. It's, for example, when if you see an ocean, there are so many ships that are all over the ocean. But where that ship will dock is another question. Are you going to be that harbor? So whatever is going on around you in the media, be careful what you feed yourself with, what you listen to, the community, who you surround yourself with. Or could it be the birds in the air? Will you let them build a nest on your head? So we need to be very selective. And as I conclude, I would like to say, like what Ambassador Namboka has said, and His Highness, I think covers it all. We've got programs, education programs, because we believe there is spirit in the spoken word. And all these together are meant to harness and uplift our girls and our women to where they need to be.
Wow. We're going to have to end with that. Perfect note to end on, but we are fresh out of time. Thank you so much to His Excellency, Paul Eganda, Her Excellency, Grace Eganda, and to Ambassador Namboka for being here on the show today. Time went by so quickly. I can't believe it's 2 hours already, but they say time flies when you're having fun. So I just want to thank you all for being a part of the show today. I want to end with a comment from Facebook. This says, One of the biggest hurdles in our country is that we continue to have Black leaders who still seem to suffer from a slave mentality. Whether they are fearful or intimidated by the white man is uncertain, but for whatever reason, they seem to lack confidence and the backbone to stand up for the people. They allow themselves to be controlled, manipulated, and dominated by organizations such as the EU, IDB, and IMF, etc., into thinking we need their money in order to survive. Well, you know what? That's another show. And perhaps I will be able to get my distinguished guests to come back and visit us at another time so that we can talk about what we really need to do to break that vicious cycle. Thank you all for being here on GPS today. I really appreciate you all. Thank you so much. All right, that's going to do it, guys. That's my time. Listen, whatever you do, do not miss tomorrow's show. We're going to be talking about illegal immigration. And child, I'm going to have Loftus Roker, Kai Mills, and Pastor Silbert Mills from Abaco on the show tomorrow. I'm trying to work on somebody else, but he hasn't confirmed this yet. It's going to be hot. Do not miss tomorrow's show. That's going to do it for me. I'm Michelle Malcolm. Thank you so much for joining us on GPS today, and enjoy the rest of your day.